Mr. Alex Munyere and your colleague, representing the Executive Director, National Council for Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Peter Atieno, representing the Country Director, Site Savers, the DVC Research, Innovation and Outreach Professor Caroline Dhorua, today representing the VC Kenyatta University, the DVC academic, Professor Washeke Wanjohi, fellow Kenyatta University staff, our students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I wish, on behalf of the 16th Disability Awareness Day Committee, to welcome you all to this event. In this 16th Disability Awareness Day, whose theme is Disability Inclusive Higher Education through Student Empowerment, we are emphasizing that students with and without disabilities in higher education can and should play an important role in facilitating inclusive education. In line with this theme, we have provided opportunities for knowledge sharing, opportunities that are intended to break attitudinal barriers, opportunities that are intended to inspire, opportunities that are intended to build resilience, and opportunities that are intended to build self-esteem and enable our students to be peer advocates and self-advocates. These opportunities we have created through Pre-Disability Awareness Day webinars that are intended to promote knowledge sharing on some invisible disabilities. We are also creating these opportunities today through that demonstration of talent that you've seen and the inspiring, very, very inspiring spoken word that we have had. And we will hear some speeches from our students on their experiences. Finally, we are building these opportunities through the 16th Disability Matters magazine, where we are seeking articles that inspire, that build resilience, that enable our students to be catalysts of inclusion. So as I conclude, please feel very welcome. Enjoy our program of activities. Please write in our Disability Matters magazine, and we would appreciate those opportunities to be harnessed. And you can do that by writing to us so that we can send you the call for articles if you are working outside the university. Write to the director-disability@ku.ac.ke. director-disability@ku.ac.ke if you are working outside the university, and we can share that call for articles whose deadline is 15th of May. Otherwise, thank you for listening to me. Enjoy the event, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Mko vipi? Tuchangamke, mko vipi? Nione kwa mkono ngapi mfurahia kuwa hapa siku ya leo. Nione kwa mkono hivi. Asanteni sana. And so to the distinguished guests, our acting VC, Mr. Professor Okumu, Professor Washeke Wanjohi, my fellow congresses who are present, and fellow students at large, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Before I go much further, you've been told that I'm the Congress Special Needs Kenyatta University, allow me to introduce the team that is helping me in representing the interest of persons able differently within Kenyatta University. And I'll start from my right is Madam Alice Mwangi. She is a physically impaired student. I think most of you know her. And next to Madam Alice Mwangi is Mr. Victor Kiprono. Yes, a round of applause to Victor Kiprono tafadhali. That is the Congress person long on hostels where disabled students do reside, most of them, the male, and also representing the interest of persons able differently at the Congress House. On my right, the second is Madam Yvonne Jerry, a Congress person, Lukenya, where this year's theme, which is disability inclusive education that is higher through students' empowerment, is both timely today and meaningful. It affirms the progress made while inviting us to strengthen our system, refine our approaches, and deepen our commitment to inclusion. As Congress is here, we stand both as leaders and as voice of lived experiences, reflecting progress but also ongoing realities. Kenyatta University has made commendable strides in expanding access to higher education for students with disability. The presence of support structures such as the Directorate of Disability Services, through which we student leaders channel different matters affecting the students with disability, and are very determined, committed administrators on disability inclusion, always solution-oriented to ensure well-being of the student here in the institution. The increasing enrollment of students with disability to Kenyatta University is also a clear indicator of this progress and effort that deserve recognition. At the same time, it is important to reflect on how this access translates into everyday experience. We all know that access is most meaningful when it is supported. Without reasonable support, it becomes a strain. Without appropriate accommodation, it may limit performance and participation as well. This raises an important question that can students with disability learn, participate, and succeed on equal terms as other mainstream students? In some cases, the answer do be yes, but in others, there is still a room for improvement. Some learning spaces remain difficult to navigate, and some materials not always provided in accessible formats and on appropriate time. While support systems exist, the effectiveness may at times vary. There is also the role of attitude that our director has also touched on while she was giving us the welcoming remarks. While many students within the university, and I mean the mainstream students, those who don't have disability, and the support staffs within the university, there are moments where assumptions or lowered expectation may intentionally limit opportunity and participation. Despite these challenges, we do be encouraged at witnessing students with different abilities continuing demonstrating resilience, adaptability, and excellence as a way of appreciating the effort Kenyatta University is applying. They contribute meaningfully to academic and leadership spaces, showing clearly that the potential present when opportunities are supported. However, resilience should not complement support, not actually replace it. You've heard from the spoken word that The ladies talked about translated ability with different facilities. And it is true that inclusion requires a consistent accessibility and timely support. Inclusive teaching practices and also the active involvement of students with disability in decision-making processes. And with that, inclusion will be much stronger when it is collaborative and intentional as well. At the heart of this empowerment of creating awareness, every student has also a fair opportunity to succeed, supported by the system that recognizes diversity as a strength. To my fellow students, empowerment also calls for continued engagement, advocacy, and participation in shaping inclusive university environment. As we make our way from where we stand, I sincerely appreciate Kenyatta University for the progress made in promoting inclusion. At the same time, it remains an opportunity to strengthen this progress and ensure that inclusion is experienced consistently by all students. We remain confident in the university's commitment to do even better and continue setting a strong example in inclusive education nationwide. May God bless us all. May God bless Kenyatta University, and may God bless Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Hand to prove your light, to belong in a space that was meant for everyone. Within higher learning institutions, students living with disability share classrooms, libraries, hostels, and social spaces with their peers. However, many still experience stigma, discrimination, and attitudinal barriers from fellow students without disabilities. Some are underestimated simply because of their disability, with their peers assuming that they are less capable academically, socially, or even in leadership. This can lead to exclusion, such as class representation, club leadership, or student organization roles, not because of inability, but because of assumptions made before understanding the individual. Socially, some students experience stealing, whispering, insensitive comment, or being spoken about instead of spoken to. Others may feel isolated and left out of friendship, group activities, or social events because people assume they cannot manage. Through these experiences may sometimes appear small, repeated exclusions, can lead to loneliness, emotional exhaustion, and the constant pressure to prove one's worth and capability in spaces that should already feel inclusive. Despite these challenges, many students living with disability continue to demonstrate resilience, leadership, confidence, and academic excellence. They continue to participate actively in campus life, challenge stereotypes, and show that disability does not define intelligence, leadership, dreams, or potentials. As we reflect on this year's theme, let us remember that true inclusion in higher education is not about sympathy or special treatment, but about equal opportunity, respect, dignity, and belonging. Inclusion begins with attitude and how we treat one another in classrooms, friendship, leadership, spaces, and everyday interactions. Let us therefore build institutions where no student is meant to feel invisible, underestimated, or excluded because of disability. Because inclusion is not a favor, it is a light, and it begins with us. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Is it afternoon or morning? I was actually being intentional. What is the time? It's just before afternoon. Good morning, distinguished guests, faculty, and students. I'm honored to join you today for this Disability Awareness Day under the powerful theme, Disability Inclusive Higher Education Through Students' Empowerment. Higher education is more than classrooms and degrees. It is the gateway to leadership, innovation, and opportunity. When students with disabilities are fully included, we do not just open doors for individuals. We strengthen our institutions and our society. Inclusion is not charity. It is justice, and it's about unlocking the potential that already exists amongst us. I'm sure you could see from the entertainment the various kinds of potentials that our students have. And so for that reason, inclusion is not a charity, it is justice, and it is about unlocking the potential that already exists amongst us. Student empowerment is at the heart of this mission. Empowerment means that students with disabilities have equal access to learning materials, assistive technologies, mentorships, and leadership opportunities. It means creating spaces where their voices are heard, their talents are recognized, and their ambitions are supported. And for that reason, I'm very grateful for what I have seen today here at Kenyatta University, where I have noticed the institution has actually created adequate space, including representation in the student leadership, which I've just witnessed this morning. In my own work in health and vision care, I have seen how inclusive systems transform lives. A child who receives the right spectacles can excel in school. A young person who gains access to assistive technology can thrive in university. These are not small changes. They are life-changing opportunities that ripples out into families, communities, and nations. So today, I urge us all, educators, policymakers, and students, to commit to building universities where diversity is celebrated and not tolerated. Let us invest in accessible infrastructure, strengthen scholarship and mentorship programs, and foster a culture where every student, regardless of ability, can lead and succeed. Because when higher education includes everyone, society gains leaders who see possibility where others see barriers. And thank you very much.
Thank you very
The Executive Director of the National Council for Persons with Disability, represented here by Mr. Alex Munyere, the Assistant Director, Disability Services, specifically in charge of Albinism Program, Professor Caroline Thorualangat, a colleague, but in this meeting representing the Acting Vice Chancellor of this great university. I also see quite a number of members of university management here. I would also like to acknowledge our partners, specifically Mr. Peter Otieno, who is representing the country director, Site Savers. We've done a lot of work together with your team. I also want to acknowledge the chairperson of the board of the Directorate of Disability Services here at Kenyatta University. This is Dr. Hinga. Also want to acknowledge the Director, Disability Services. This is Dr. Lubna Mazurui. Want to acknowledge Dr. Beatrice Kathongo, who is chairing the committee that organized this event, the 16th Disability Awareness Day. I also see quite a number of members of staff here, members of the board. We acknowledge all of you, and we also want to acknowledge all invited guests, our esteemed students, ladies and gentlemen. I think for me it is afternoon. Good afternoon. It gives me great pleasure to join you this morning during the commemoration of the 16th Disability Awareness Day at Kenyatta University, and really be pleased to join you for this event. This event, being the 16th year in which we are celebrating in our calendar, it reflects our unwavering commitment to equity, inclusivity, and the dignity of every member of our community. Our chief guests, ladies and gentlemen, as the Academic and Student Affairs Division, we look back with pride at our journey since 2010, when we began the when Kenyatta University Disability Services Office, KUTV, was established in a small but a very, very impactful way, has seen us grow. And I had seen the founding director, Professor Paul Mbogwa. I think, yes, I see the founding director of that particular center. And as the university continued to grow and recognizing the critical importance of these services, the university did elevate the office to a full directorate 2 years after. And of course, as staff of this university, we did put out a proposal to restructure to enable us manage our finances. And I had the singular privilege, after the process of approval, to start the implementation of what had been approved by Council and supported by Senate. But when, as management, that is in 2022, when we commenced the implementation, we now looked at details of what really we needed to do in terms of implementing that particular restructuring program. And I want to disclose to you that one of the things that was to happen was to de-establish the Directorate of Disability Services. And after reviewing, and with the support of Council, we decided that disability needed to remain as a directorate, just buttressing the fact that these are very, very important people in our community and needed to be supported structurally and system-wise so that we enhance integration and inclusivity. Our distinguished participants, our theme this year, Disability Inclusive Higher Education through Student Empowerment. I would like to say it's not just a mere slogan or just a mere theme coined to impress the audience. It is what we endeavor to practice daily. And as a division under which the Directorate of Disability Services belong, we are directly working together with the director, together with the board, to see how we can broaden our support. In this wise, I would like to say that we have continued to admit the largest number of students with disability, and also the types of disability have expanded in scope. Currently, we don't have the conventional ones like visual, hearing, and physical, but we have also brought in albinism, epilepsy, speech disorder, cerebral palsy, psychosocial disorder like bipolars, because we want to continue making sure that those who get admitted here, regardless of the types of disabilities, they are fully supported. We also, in terms of seeking academic equity, and specifically in the realm of examinations, we have institutionalized robust support systems and structures. And they range from providing extra time based on professional assessment by the Disability Assessment Committee, which I have put in place, to continuous brailing of examination materials throughout the semester to ensure that no student is disadvantaged by their circumstances. And I want to echo the words of Hilda, who was here and shared with us a spoken word. And she said, because disability is not inability, but just a twist of capability in a different versatility. And I really hope that as she spoke here, you have picked that and you believe in that. Also in accommodation, we try to take care of that. In student representation, we try to take care of that. And recently, you are aware, we have established a Center for Hearing and Speech Excellence here in Kenyatta University, again from the academic perspective, just to address those upcoming sub-disciplines that have been neglected for a long time and build capacity in that wise. And of course, still within the context of the academic division, we have a fully fledged department of special needs. And with those few remarks, I really want to thank all of you and celebrate the achievements that have been made so far, and as a division, continue to inform you of our commitment to support our students with disability so that they can enjoy their experience here at Kenyatta University. And with those few remarks, it is now my pleasure to invite Professor Caroline Thorua Rangat to come and make remarks on behalf of the Acting Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, a very good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us this morning right here on KUTV right today. And this specifically is Biashara Tuesday. We are coming live to you from Kenyatta University main campus right here in Nairobi, not Central Business District, but in Nairobi. What has been happening on your screen is what transpired for the last 7 days right here in Kenyatta University. And you know, before we get into what is shaping your world of business, your world of news, we normally get you informed the activities that are happening around Kenyatta University. So Kenyatta University is an inclusive university that involves all spheres of life. Every person has been catered for in our curriculum and in our day-to-day lives, and that has been the Disability Day that was commemorated right here on Kenyatta University. Throughout the show, we'll keep you updated on what transpired during the event, of course with the speeches and everything in between. But right about now, it is time for you to get updated or for you to get informed on what Biashara Tuesday is about, a show that keeps you informed on everything business, everything that concerns you in terms of how you better yourself as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a Kenyan citizen, how you get informed or what you need to know in order to make informed decisions. So this is Biashara Tuesday, and today being a Tuesday, we are going to be talking about young people getting themselves into entrepreneurship in the digital era. Especially the focus this morning will be on campus students who for a long time have been having businesses around campus, in their hostels, around university markets, and they've been having businesses finding it hard to get clarification or to get to have their audience or the target market to get to them and have them trusting them. So this on today's launch, we are going to be having a conversation on the same, how young Kenyatta University individuals or students are coming up with solutions of such problems to have everyone who is doing business, whether it's vendors, whether it's consumers, bringing them together for a trusted experience as they move forward their businesses. That discussion will be coming up on this discussion. Also this morning, we shall also be reviewing, or we'll be going back to a discussion that we had last week, and that is involving the young people or involving ladies in STEM. And remember, in the country right now, we are having a summit that is currently ongoing, for African Forward Summit, and this is bringing together leaders, and the focus that are given prominence are areas surrounding tech, areas surrounding agriculture, and all this, the basics of this is STEM. So how well can we involve ladies or young girls, inspiring them to get into STEM careers? So that discussion will also be coming up on this broadcast this morning. And also, being a Tuesday, we can't complete this without having the state of our nation. This will be discussion centered on a newspaper, and that we call it the newspaper review. And now that we are at it, we'll take a look at different newspapers this morning, and those are headlines that you're having this morning on different newspapers in the country, and of course that of our neighbors, that is Uganda and Tanzania. To set us off, we have the bold newspaper, that is the Standard, which is talking of Miwani land suckers. This is a story of a company, sugar cane company or sugar company, that is now the information or the whereabouts are unknown, because the members of those who are responsible for it are claiming they don't know where payments went to, and this is a situation where public land is reportedly under the process of being privatized, and this is illegally. And the Standard, being a bold newspaper, they're linking this to cabinet secretaries, because the information that is, or the photos that are presented there are photos of cabinet secretary. What the Standard is saying is a purported Mumbai-based businessman, Nagendra Saxena, a ghost figure without a trace, and who immigration says has never stepped into Kenya, occasioned a secretive Christmas Eve auction of Miwani sugar. Now there's a push from powerful state figures to hand over 9,394 acres of communal Miwani land to Crossley Holdings, a private company. Suba Member of Parliament Karoli Omondi says, upon being questioned by Parliament, company directors claimed they could not remember to whom they paid 752 million to acquire the land. Our investigating, that is according to the Standard, our investigation has uncovered internal matters, missing court files, forged documents, and anti-corruption findings pointing to an attempt to privatize public land. That is on the Standard. They have really moved away from the conversation of the summit that is currently ongoing in the country, and the focus is on this fraud that is happening to Miwani plantation, or this company that is allegedly at the verge of being privatized. So that is on the Standard. Moving forward to a different newspaper this morning, we have the Daily Nation. Now the Daily Nation has also moved away from stories of the summit that is currently on everyone's tongue, and they're talking of CCTV phone data to nail priest killers. And that is in relation to what transpired last week, where a PCA priest was murdered. This followed an attack that led to his death. And now, I don't know if I should say it has been politicized, but we've had so many conversations from our politicians, that is from the opposition, who are demanding accountability from the government. We saw what transpired yesterday during the burial of the pastor. And right now, they're demanding CCTV footage to be released to the public for them to get to know who really orchestrated these acts of injustices. So that is a story given prominence on the Daily Nation. Another story is on the case regarding former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, saying that Gachagua Kindiki clash on Ruto's call to doctor. That is another story that is given prominence on the Daily Nation. Also still on the Daily Nation, we have Macron's plea as France seeks new ties in Africa. That has been ongoing in the country. It began on Sunday as he stepped foot here in the country. Yesterday we had the France president being taken around Nairobi, and today is officially where the summit will be going on right here in the capital. And also in religion, church wars, pastors in bitter fight for tithe, branches, and land. So it's getting to be a dirty business with a church business. And now this report says that pastors in bitter fight for tithe, the branches, and of course church land. And a conversation that you should be keen on now that we are on the 5th month of the year is conversation surrounding finance bill that will be coming on your screens, and especially right here on Biashara Tuesday very often for the next 1 month or so ahead of the signing of the finance bill. Remember, right now there are so many changes that have been made on the finance bill 2026, 2027. We shall be bringing you up to speed on the same because that document is now ready to the public. So that is finance bill. On finance bill, they're talking of Mbadi pegs tax cuts for low income earners to Iran war. And just to give context on the same, earlier, the president and of course together with the cabinet secretary for treasury said that Kenyans earning below 50,000, and the president brought it down to 30,000, will be exempted from the payee tax. But right now Mbadi says that that might not be possible. Yes, we promised, but kidogo hata nyinyi mnaona watu wanapigana, so that may not be happening. That is according to what has been presented. So that is on the finance bill, which you should also be keen on. That is on the Daily Nation. Moving to a different newspaper, we have Taifa Leo ambao wanasema kwamba uasi waandama familia ya Odinga. And this is matters politics. Something that you should take note of is the agitation speech of John Mbadi, who say that hata kama wewe ni dada yake huwezi kutuambia kitu ya kufanya, huyo baba kwa wapi sasa. And that is on Taifa Leo, the story given prominence. Of course, there are also stories related to the summit that is currently ongoing in the country. On the People Daily, they are talking of Ruto's CSS torn between loyalty and political survival. These are cabinet secretaries who are wondering whether they will be getting back to be appointed as cabinet secretaries or to different positions, whether it's ministerial, in parastatals and all that. So they're eyeing re-elections, they're eyeing going back to politics because they might not get back to cabinet. So that is given prominence there, where Ruto's cabinet secretaries are torn between loyalty and political survival. Moving forward to the Star, they're talking of untold story of housing, fisheries and coffee boom, how key sectors grew. So that is statistics given right there on the Star in terms of the country's economy, which expanded by 4.6% last year. That is on the Standard, the story that is given prominence on the same. Another story is minor wins as court overturns dismissal and awards him 600,000 after accident, and also fears of bribery in 2027 election as campaign funding rules stalled. So no one knows where our leaders get their campaign monies. So bribery is still a question of concern on the same, even as we head towards the next general election. On the Business Daily this morning, they're talking of KRS seeks identity of crypto traders in tax cheats pursuit. So this is in a bid to ensure that every person who is involved in trade does not evade taxes despite all this. So that is on the Business Daily. On MyGov, they're talking of schools to get increased funding in the next budget. That is still on matters finance bill. And moving across our borders in Uganda, talks ahead. That is the 2026 to 2031 tenure of Ugandan president, who will be sworn in today. That is in Tanzania, in Uganda. In Tanzania, gazeti la Mwananchi wanasema kwamba Jaji Warioba TLS wataja dawa ya kuliponya taifa. That is given prominence in Tanzania. And still in Tanzania, on the Citizen magazine, they're talking of government's 11 priorities in the 1.8 trillion health budget. Remember, this is a time when most countries in Africa or East Africa are going through their budget making processes, and that is in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania. So those are stories that are given prominence, of course, on the dailies this morning. At this point, I want us to take a look at what is happening on the roads and, of course, the weather situation in different parts of the country. All right, it is exactly 47 minutes past 7 a.m. and I'm looking at different tributaries leading to Nairobi Central Business District. So it is a day for the 3 days, that is Monday, Tuesday, and partly Sunday. We've had traffic around the Central Business District, that is around roads around KCC, that is the Parliament Road, the City Hallway, and the areas around that is KCC because of the summit. So most of those roads are closed, and if you want to get to any person of the public is not allowed to get through those roads unless you have a special permit to allow you get through those roads. So if you're going to town and you'll be using roads surrounding KACC, you might not be able to get through those roads, so ensure that you get to other roads around Nairobi Central Business District. So that's for that reason, most of the roads in the city are going to be having unusual traffic today. That is following what is happening on the summit, where we have more than 30 presidents in the countries and dignitaries in the country for the same. And away from Nairobi Central Business District, talking of tributaries leading to Nairobi, we have Thika Road, where we are having traffic from Garden City all the way to Pangani Interchange, and also affecting those coming from Kiambu Road. So if you're using that road, you'll be staying on the road for quite some time. Along the Eastern Bypass from Utawala, that is from Naivas Supermarket and Quickmart, they slow down all the way to, as you join Nairobi, that is Mombasa Road. If you're using that road also, you'll be staying on the road for quite some time. Those coming from Langata Road also, you'll be staying on the road for quite some time. Those coming from Ngong Road, especially roads leading to or moving away from areas around the Junction Mall, you're also going to be staying on the road for quite some time. So those who are also coming from Kileleshwa going to town or joining towards Mombasa Road, you're also going to be staying on that road for quite some time. This is affecting those using Waiyaki Way, also going to be staying on the road for quite some time. And also, will not forget to mention those people using the lower Kabete Road and those people coming from Kitsuru, areas around the village markets, you're also going to be staying on the road for quite some time. So this follows the rains that have been witnessed in the country. So if you're using either of these roads that I've mentioned, you're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. So you might want to slow down and avoid pressure for the same. So that is on the traffic update as of 7 a.m. 7:50 a.m. this morning. And looking at the weather situation in different parts of the country, according to Kenya Met, most parts of the country are going to be receiving increased rainfall. And just taking a look at different parts, looking at Isiolo, right now they're receiving light rains, and with a temperature of 21 degrees Celsius, temperatures expecting to be getting to highs of 27 degrees Celsius. Looking at Mombasa, Mandera, right now it is mostly cloudy at 28 degrees Celsius this morning. Temperatures expected to be rising to 33 degrees Celsius throughout the day. And areas in Eldoret, right now it's mostly cloudy and it is at 15 degrees Celsius. Temperatures expected to be rising to around 17 because they'll be receiving moderate rainfall from around 1 p.m. all the way to 10 p.m. So they might be receiving rainfall on the same, that is in Eldoret. Moving on to the western part of the country, Kakamega, right now it is 17 degrees Celsius, and it is mostly cloudy, and from around rainfall is expected at 40%. That is as the day progresses. So they're expecting to be receiving rainfall in the western part of the country. And of course, if we look at Kisumu, that is the Nyanza region, right now 20 degrees Celsius. It is mostly cloudy, and they are also expecting rainfall. That is from around 1:12 2 p.m. They'll be expecting rainfall in areas around Kisumu. In Homa Bay County, it is also cloudy, and it feels like 24 degrees Celsius this morning, though it is at 21 degrees Celsius. They also have 30% chances of rainfall in the evening, that is from 3 p.m. And in the coastal region also, it is cloudy. Rainfall expectation is at 20% if I look at Kilifi. And if we look at areas around Mombasa, 26 degrees Celsius, no sign of precipitation today in Mombasa. And finally, as we get here in Kiambu and Nairobi, right now in Kiambu, there is a light rainfall that is currently ongoing at 60% in Kiambu, and temperatures are at 17 degrees Celsius. And finally in Nairobi, in most parts of Nairobi, there's light rainfall, which it rained heavily last evening. So the rainfall expected to be continuing through the day. If you can carry your umbrella, do so, because rainfall are distributed throughout the day, with maximum around 3 p.m. which is at 70%. So it will definitely be raining in Nairobi today and areas surrounding Kiambu County. So that is on the weather update this morning in different parts of the country. And of course, just to mention, the Kenya Met Department has also issued a warning of increased rainfall in different parts of the country. The ones I've mentioned and many more, you can confirm with them on their website. And the rainfall expected to be reducing towards Thursday. And this will be reprieved because the by-elections will be taking place around that day. So that is on the weather and traffic update this morning. Exactly 7:54, and it's time to get you informed on the state of the nation, and that is on the news update. And French President Emmanuel Macron, accompanied by his host President William Ruto, led the first day of the Africa Forward Summit 2026 held at the University of Nairobi. On this first day, that was yesterday, the attending head of states held discussions with youths and innovators, inaugurated the United Nations Office Expansion Project, and attended a business and chief executive officers forum where discussions on relations between African countries and France dominated. Hassan Lewa is on that bit this morning.
On the first day of the Africa Forward Summit 2026, hosted by Kenya in partnership with France, President William Ruto, together with French President Emmanuel Macron, officially opened the summit with an exhibition at the proposed Engineering and Science Complex at the University of Nairobi.
The video, bro. See, najua. Dr. William Samuel Jones. I want to take this opportunity to remind the university essentially a period on how we can construct
But after the exhibition, the presidents attending the Africa Forward Summit took part in a high-level youth engagement at the University of Nairobi, where they listened to innovative young people from different African countries and also contributed to discussions on education, technology, and innovation.
So we have to build much more energy facilities, renewables, nuclear, in order to deploy electrification of our common use in Europe, electrification for households and companies in Africa, but in order to build additional capacities and computing capacities, first challenge, and to build foundational models and companies on that. Everything, when we speak about infrastructure, is about sovereignty. And this partnership between Amini, Bull, and Foxconn, for me, is a perfect example of this sovereignty, this common sovereignty story.
Digital infrastructure, making sure that we have fiber optic across our countries, making sure that it is accessible creating spaces where entrepreneurs, creatives, young people can undertake their assignments, their aspirations.
Thank you for the question, which I think it's probably the most consequential question Africa is facing today in the age of AI. Builders or consumers? But for me, this question is deeply personal because I am African. My parents are from the Central African Republic, but I am also French. I was born and raised in Paris. And I spent the past 15 years rising to the top.
After completing the discussions with African youth, the presidents were treated to an art exhibition.
One became many, many became form, and form became life. From the heavens, a gift descended, not as thunder, but as a breath.
On the first day of the Africa Forward Summit, President William Ruto, accompanied by the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, proceeded to Gigiri, where they officially inaugurated the United Nations Office's expansion project.
The groundbreaking ceremony for the new Assembly Hall and the inauguration of new office buildings are symbols of our collective ambition, and the reaffirmation of the central role that Africa, and Kenya in particular, play in the life and future of the United Nations.
And especially my good friend, Secretary General, and his deputy. And I am told they rarely travel out together, except on very consequential functions like this one. Your presence underscores our shared commitment to strengthening multilateralism and ensuring the UN remains effective, responsive, and fit for purpose in addressing the challenges of our time.
The first day of the Africa Forward Summit concluded with the CEO and business leaders talk, officially closed by French President Emmanuel Macron, together with President Ruto. The talk focused on relations between Africa and France in the technology, agriculture, energy, health, trade, and development sector. Hassan Lewa, KUTV.
Now, traffic flow in Nairobi Central Business District was yesterday partially disrupted after several roads, including Parliament Road, were closed ahead of the official opening of the Africa Forward Summit 2026 at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, and at the University of Nairobi. And as Edward Nyamu details in the following report, motorists and pedestrians experienced delays in traffic. Officers were deployed across major intersections.
Activities in Nairobi Central Business District was not as usual. Security personnel and traffic police took position on key roads leading to Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, where African Forward Summit 2026 was happening. Parliament Road was among the roads closed to allow the smooth movement of delegates and VIPs attending the summit. Other sections around City Hall Way, Harambee Avenue, and access roads near KICC also experienced temporary traffic restrictions. Despite the closures, not all roads in the city center were affected, with traffic police directing motorists to alternative routes to ease congestion and ensure normal business operations continued. Heavy police presence was visible across the CBD, with officers conducting security checks and controlling both vehicles and pedestrians' movement around the summit venue. Some commuters expressed frustrations over the delays, while others welcomed the security measures, saying they were necessary for an international event of such magnitude. The Africa Forward Summit 2026 has brought together African leaders, business executives, policymakers, and development partners to discuss economic growth, innovation, digital transformation, and investment opportunities across the continent. Edward Nyamu, KUTV.
Now, later on the State of the Nation, that is on the newspaper review, we shall be taking a deeper look on the same, taking opinions from the opposition, and of course with the divide with the Francophone and Anglophone. That discussion will be coming up later on. Now, moving on, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua continued to criticize the Kenya Kwanza administration for failing to apprehend those responsible for the ruthless murder of Reverend Julius Nduma. Speaking at the late Reverend Ndumia's funeral in Tetu constituency in Nyeri County, Gachagua condemned the government's silence about the ongoing murder probe and accused the security sector of being careless. According to Gachagua, the church is being attacked and needs immediate protection. On the security situation in Nakuru County, Gachagua called for a security purge, citing the county's recent history of insecurity and violence.
Mimi nataka niambie our parish ministers, we'll fight for the justice of your colleague. We'll shout from the rooftop until Mama Esther and her children and the church gets justice. A man is not a chicken. Mtu hapana kuku. Baona damu ya mchungaji imemwagika. Muko menawe sema chochote. Sasa ni siku 6 amenyamaza. IG amenyamaza. Why? Is the life of our reverend a lesser life? This is a great church. This is not just another ordinary Kenyan. It's a man of God. Why is government quiet?
Now, gender-based violence cases in Mombasa have risen by more than 45% since 2022, with women leaders and community activists calling for urgent government intervention. Addressing the media at the Tononoka Children's Court in Mombasa, the leaders described gender-based violence as a growing crisis that is silently tearing families apart across the coastal city.
Jamii inatakikana kuelewa mambo mengi kuhusu gender based violence. Kama vile wenzangu wameongelelea, gender based violence imekuwa very rampant. I think sahi iko over 45% since 2022. Na sana sana inafanyika kwa wale wa miaka 18 mpaka 49, lakini sahi tunaona hadi watoto wadogo wale. Kwa hivyo kuna sheria mbalimbali ambazo hakikisha kwamba mwanamke ama mwanamume anakuwa protected. Nikianza na katiba yetu ya Kenya under article 27, 28 and 29.
Now, residents of Kwapunda in Jomvu sub-county in Mombasa County have raised concern over the poor state of county feeder roads in the area. The impossible roads have disrupted essential services and exposed them to danger in the event of an emergency. Listen in.
Led by community health promoter Veronica Karisa, residents of Kwapunda in Jomvu sub-county, Mombasa County, have stated that emergency cases have become difficult to handle because vehicles cannot access the area. According to Karisa, in the event of a medical emergency, especially when a patient is or a mother is in labor, they are forced to carry them on a stretcher because the roads are badly dilapidated and no vehicle can pass through.
Kukiwa kuna mgonjwa au kama kuna mama anataka kujifungua, inabidi tumbebe na mkeka, sababu hili mbora haipandi na kuna gari inaweza shuka au ikapanda au pikipiki. Kwa hivyo tuna changamoto nyingi hapa kwa kupitia kwa wagonjwa. Kwa mama kujifungua, mtu ni labda ameumia, tuna changamoto nyingi.
Martha Mudhoni, a resident, highlighted that the poor road network has also compromised security, noting that police officers on both day and night patrols are unable to access the area with their vehicles because of the poor condition of the roads.
Kuwatengenezea mahali tu kwanza wanaweza kupita. Haya ni mambo ambayo nikiwa county na governor Hassan Joho, tulinunua malori ya kutosha, tulinunua maeskaveta, tulinunua magreda ya kwamba maram ni yetu, iende ichukuliwe tu waje watengenezewe.
Mheshimiwa zae tushike mkono, tutengenezee barabara, tutengenezee shule. Hapa hakuna shule yoyote yenye tuko nayo, hakuna stima pale. Wamama wanateseka pia na hii mambo na barabara.
Boda rider Joseph Katana called on leaders to prioritize development in the area, citing poor roads, lack of schools and inadequate electricity connectivity. Political Affairs Advisor in the Office of the President, Karisa Nzai, urged Mombasa Governor Abdul Swamad Sharif Nasir to accelerate development for all residents of the county and not to be misled by some of his officials.
Tupate security, manake security ile ya serikali iko Mikindani, wakija waangalia hizi nyumba za barabarani kule chini kwenye kuna maporomoko hawafiki.
The residents are now accusing the county administration of neglecting the area, saying the lack of infrastructure has denied them access to essential services, particularly healthcare and education. Caroline Kimwele, KUTV.
Now, still on matters infrastructure, the construction of a new bridge at River Kiringa has brought some sigh of relief to coffee and dairy farmers in Kabare Ward in Gichungu, Kirinyaga County, who have long struggled with poor transport, high delivery cost, and dangerous crossings caused by damaged old bridge, especially during heavy rains, as Ochieng Cynthia tells us in the following report.
The ongoing construction of a new bridge at River Kiringa is expected to solve transport challenges facing farmers in Kabare Ward, improving movement, reducing delivery cost, and enhancing access to market and essential services. The residents have for many years depended on a temporary makeshift bridge that cannot support vehicles, forcing them to use longer and unsafe routes.
Kwa sababu ya kahawa tumeona redio imetengenezwa na bereni tulikuwa na shida sana. Tukileta kahawa ni shida matope na ngari bila isipita hapo. Hata tukutukutu bila isipita.
According to Jackson Muridhi, her farmer transport challenges during rainy seasons forced farmers to pay up to 150 shillings per bag of coffee due to difficulties accessing the factory, noting that the bridge will reduce transport cost and ensure timely delivery of the produce.
Hao watu wa kahawa, kwa sababu naye kahawa ikikosekana kupelekwa kwa factory, watu watapata shinda sana, kwa sababu hiyo ndio main ya wakulima wa hapa. Haya mambo ya kahawa ya maziwa pia ni main na ndio nini business yao, ile wanatafuta pesa naye. So gari za nini ya kilimo inazunguka njia mrefu sana, watu mpaka wakakosa pesa ya nini ya maziwa kwa sababu ya transport.
To Daniel Ndege, the bridge will soon improve access to healthcare services, markets and nearby towns including Kutus and Kerugoya.
Apitie kwa hiyo daraja.
The project is part of the ongoing efforts to improve infrastructure in Kabare Ward and is expected to provide safer transport for residents while also improving connectivity between Gishugu and Kirinyaga Central constituencies. Ochieng Cynthia, KUTV.
Now in sports this morning, French President Emmanuel Macron, together with his host William Ruto and other presidents from across Africa, yesterday awarded athletes and sports personalities who participated in the Africa Forward Summit 2026 Games at the University of Nairobi. The president also played football together as part of activities on the first day of his international summit.
Yeah, of course, moving left, touch. We wonder why our national team doesn't have strikers yet. We have good players. Well done, you're excellent.
Well, it's very fortunate to have them. And sometimes we have exported our coaches to the African continent, and Claude is here. He knows that, and the president honored him earlier on. So my message is that it's very important what we are doing here. It's a question of education first. Everywhere we help developing sports apart from major events and competitions, and that's why the Youth Olympics in Senegal are so important. We give young people the ability to become emancipated and to be empowered. It's a strategy that we decided to implement in France, but we want the same for the African African continent, because we teach young people rules, sports discipline. We teach them to be in a team. We give them trust, confidence, self-confidence. We help them explore their talents. A young person who is great at running is not necessarily very good at
Now that brings us to the end of our news update this morning. We are taking a very short break. Coming up next are discussions that I mentioned earlier. I'll be talking about women in STEM and how to have more women in STEM, and of course also how to empower young entrepreneurs, especially in campuses. Those discussions coming up shortly after the break.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Munyere, the Assistant Director, Disability Services in charge of Albinism Program at representing Mr. Dr. Michael Munene from the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Peter Otieno, representing the Country Director, Site Savers, Professor Washeke Wanjohi, DVC Academic, members of the University Management Board, Dr. Lubna Mazrui, Director, Disability Services, the Organizing Committee for Disability Services, Disability Awareness Day, members of Senate, heads of departments, members of staff present, esteemed students, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with much pleasure that I welcome all of you here this afternoon to this special day. And I want to start off by appreciating all the entertainment we had this morning, just to mark this very special day. And I want to thank all of those who have entertained us this morning. Truly inspiring and recognizing that inclusion is important. And again, as we have been told, it is really unlocking existing potential. Thank you very much. My role this afternoon, is to represent the Vice Chancellor, who had another engagement and could not join us. and I'm going to read his speech. It is with great pleasure that we at Kenyatta University host the 16th Disability Awareness Day. This day is part of the University Almanac and strongly brings forth commitment of the university management in taking care of people with disability welfare in our institutions, including our visitors. We do this believing that this increases the level of awareness on the needs, aspirations, and capacities of persons with disabilities so as to enhance their acceptance, participation, and integration in our community. Our chief guest. Over the years, Kenyatta University has remained committed to providing access to higher education for persons with disabilities through the mainstreaming concept. It is noteworthy that the university admits the largest number of students with disabilities among universities in Eastern and Central Africa. The majority of these students are persons with visual impairments, followed by those with physical disabilities, and a smaller number with hearing impairment, many of whom are supported within the Department of Special Needs Education. Despite their diverse needs, these students pursue programs across a wide range of disciplines, including chemistry, mathematics, pharmacy, humanities, and fine art. We at Kenyatta University are proud to be the first public university within East Africa to have initiated the first Bachelor of Education degree program targeting people with special needs. The department these processes through the disability policy. It is in the light of the foregoing and our contribution to the development of higher education in Kenya that the Directorate of Disabilities decided to mark this year's Disability Awareness Day under the theme, Disability Inclusive Higher Education through Student Empowerment. In this theme, which was domesticated from the United Nations World Disability Awareness Day, marked in December 2025, we have aimed at bringing out the various aspects of the university which should have inclusion for persons with disabilities, the students, staff, and visitors. Our policy statement. Kenyatta University is committed to the principles of equality in all aspects of operation for students and staff. The university strongly supports the mainstreaming of disability in all aspects of the university community. To further enhance inclusion of students with disabilities, Kenyatta University will continue to embed universal design principles into policies and practices. Encourage access to and participate in employment and education consistent with equal opportunity principles. Encourage positive, informed, and unprejudiced attitudes towards persons with disabilities through educational and staff development programs. Continue to take all reasonable steps to eliminate discrimination. Provide appropriate access to facilitate resources and support, including reasonable adjustments as appropriate. And finally, continue to implement improved information technology for persons with disability. In implementing this policy statement, the university shall offer support to students with disabilities through university-appointed disability advisors, who will be available at the first point of contact for any student or potential student who has a disability. Secondly, the university is committed to developing an inclusive learning environment for students with disabilities. The university shall encourage students to disclose any disabilities or medical conditions to ensure that appropriate support is arranged for them in a timely fashion. This might include access, examination, and study arrangements. All information disclosed shall be treated as confidential and cannot be disclosed to third parties without an individual's explicit consent. The university shall also offer the following services: pre-entry advice, accessibility on campus, assistive technology, advice on financial assistance, examination support, referral to support agencies, disability sensitization, reasonable adjustment, and universal design infrastructure. Library service and admission. One of the key services I want to expound on is security. The university endeavors to have secure, designated zones for the safety of staff, students, and visitors with disability in all regions of the university for the use in ease of riot, disturbances, fire, or any other threat. The Directorate of Security is mandated to provide safety information and drills in an appropriate manner. Another area we have been focusing on is health and safety. The health unit shall provide the same range and quality of health care to all without discrimination on the basis of disability. The staff with sign language skills within the university shall be available to offer interpretation services to individuals with disabilities. Other services expounded in the disability policy include sports management, accommodation, access to information, and career guidance. Our chief guest, we are delighted that today you are going to address us on the services offered by the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. We look forward to greater collaboration with yourselves in the area of provision of services and resources to our students and staff with disabilities. As I conclude, I urge all of us to embrace the culture of diversity and inclusiveness to make every member of the community feel appreciated and accepted as an equal member of Kenyatta University community. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Alex Munyere, to address us.
Welcome back, and just hold on right there where you are. We'll be getting back to that conversation later on. But right now we are seated, and when we are seated, you know, it's about to get down on matters. Discussion on entrepreneurship. Today, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be talking about digital entrepreneurship, informal economies, trust in online customers, and of course, youth innovation that bolsters their own investments, or that puts them in front of the marketplaces, keeps them updated, informed, and ready to navigate the business world. That discussion is right here with us, helping us understand that is Jean Ngugi and of course Ian Josiah, who are developing really interesting solutions to young people's problem in the entrepreneurship field. But allow me have my guests introduce themselves to you back there at home. Let's begin with you, Ian.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you're good from where you're watching from. My name is Ian Josiah, and I'm really enthusiastic to be part of this project, and My only question that drives me in life is how can intelligence systems be designed to operate effectively?
Hello everyone, my name is Jean Gogi. I am a student at Kenyatta University, second year engineering student, and I am the CEO of this innovation called KU Shoplicity.
Karibu sana, Madam CEO, to our show this morning. I love it when I see young people get themselves with startups. You know, it's never an easy thing to start a thing, leave alone start a company. True. It's never an easy thing even to start the basic things like relationships. But right now we are talking of business. So in all this chaos, what problem did you see and was like, okay, this is chaos and I need to transform it? What was the starting point of this whole movement?
Okay, so we realized that when our student entrepreneurs, like when they want to sell something, they post it on WhatsApp groups and also sometimes channels. But when students require their services or their products, like they can't get to they have to scroll back to, oh, I saw this post recently, where did I see it? So and also it's you have to request some certain admins for groups to be able to post, because they also cover up the important information in WhatsApp groups. The advertisements hinder communication. So we saw that these student entrepreneurs are just working, they don't have a platform where they can comfortably just continue with their own businesses. So we decided to create KU Shoplicity for them, where their products remain permanently on the platform for their customers to view, and they can easily communicate without any challenges.
Now, Ian, how does Shoplicity work?
Campus have good economies right now, and we really have the system of sellers, buyers, and actually people who are not sellers, but they want to be sellers. And what KU Shoplicity is doing, we're creating an entrepreneurial culture in a way that it's not a must that you are a defined seller. We're trying to tap the value of anything that you have right now. You may have, let's say, an electric kettle that you've been using and you really lack essence of it right now, but someone there may be in need of that electric kettle. So it's also a resale platform where students can actually exchange items and like buy from, because the other person will be selling at a cheaper price. It's not a must you buy something that's new. And also about opportunities, we realize that these opportunities are fragmented in a way that if I'll not be in this WhatsApp group and this opportunity is posted there, or maybe I'm looking for a peer-to-peer campus job, I may not be able to find because maybe I'm not connected to this person. So we're creating a one platform for everything. Whether delivery services in terms of food from Kenyatta Market, because we do understand Glovo, Uber Eats cannot do that. And for campus conveniency, for comrades conveniency, we're trying to bridge that gap.
All right. So it's like Jumia, it's like Kilimall, but now
student
centralized
center.
on students, Kenyatta University.
So student center.
Yeah.
So what difference does it have with just having my account? Like I'm having, there are students who have seen open a WhatsApp group and then they add the members in that group and then they post, or some having business accounts where they can have a catalog of their goods and stuff, and also having Instagram pages. I've also seen that a lot. So what difference does it have with someone just opening their own business account? Jen?
For the business account, I don't believe that you can really the stock, you can't really manage your stock properly. And also, how do you get to this person who does not know you? How do they get to your WhatsApp business account number? So for the website, I feel like it is more open. You can easily market yourself without having to do much work. So, and as well as the Jumia has a wide range of customers. You can find a customer to deliver to in another county, but we want to make sure first that within our premises of KU, we have made sure that if you have a certain product that this person needs, you have met every possible person that can help you, and if they cannot now, you can proceed to outside. Yeah.
How does marketing look like for this? Yes.
I feel it's of much value to students. And
I mean, the structures of it. Do you go to classes and tell students we have this app? How do you make this known to others? Because for applications like, is it Odoo? Odoo, yeah. You have content creators, you hear them talking about it so how does marketing of this look like for you?
So we have recruited ambassadors, brand ambassadors that are actually carrying the view of Shoplicity to other people that are not aware of it. And we're also having posters that we share. We actually trying to mobilize and ensure that every student will not be left out, because this is an amazing product. And as far as much, yes, we'll try to market it as a way, but this is a product that every campus student will require. Mm-hmm. And the awareness of it is all that we need. And that's how we've been tapping the potential. And right now, since 3 weeks ago from the launch, we're not far from milestone 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Now, I understand kuna mchezo ya town that happens, especially when youths are involved. Personally, I cannot buy something and pay before its delivery. So that's on a trust issue and the safety of that happening. So how do you ensure there is trust and safety, especially dealing with campus students who sometimes they pay you ukitoka hivi and they're reversing the money? How do you ensure trust and safety?
Okay, first for now we look at who is posting. For now, we don't have a huge number of sellers, so we have looked at all of them and we have assured that those products are there. And we also advocate for pay after delivery. So we would like for our sellers on there, they first deliver the product or the service to the customers, then they are paid after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what happens with in situations where I have seen this especially with youths, where someone does not have a physical shop, so you pay and then they go buy and bring it to you. So in such situations, how does it happen when someone does not have a physical shop?
Oh, they can discuss with their customer. They can discuss with their customer if they need the pay beforehand. They can always discuss. But as for KU Shoplicity, we assure you that we have not onboarded scammers onto our platform. Yeah.
How? Because how will you know I'm not a scam? How will you know?
Because we check on the biodata that every seller of ours that uploads, and we really verify the details. And we have contact persons with them, even if it's not like literally speaking with them physically, but we are assuring you, and also we have a complaint form that we assure that if anything happens, we'll really take charge in terms of any losses, any damage that occurs, because we really trust that peer-to-peer can be well trusted. And if it cannot, we'll make sure it will be well trusted.
All right, so I love the part that you've said, if anything happens, you will ensure that things are aligned. So it's at the cost of the company.
It's at the cost of Shoplicity.
All right, so that gives you the work to ensure that it's really legit and of the
For
same.
sure, yeah.
All right, now speaking of peer-to-peer trading, among university students, what is really pushing them to begin these businesses according to how you've interacted with them? Is it to survive? Is it that young people are now more entrepreneurial? with a few cents here and there as disposable income, and now they're beginning the business. What do you think is driving the young people, especially mixing their studies with businesses? Let me begin with you.
Okay. Survival is first in campus. Every student, every campus out here, campus student, works to not sleep hungry tonight, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, has due rent to pay. I was just imagining a situation where a student, he bought a screen, maybe like a TV screen, and probably maybe he has failed to find essence of it, and he needs money to pay for his rent because the rent is due.
Mm-hmm.
How will that person do? Because he doesn't have money. Because Shoplicity will allow you to sell that screen, to actually convert that money to actually suit your essence right now. And also about the peer-to-peer campus jobs that we are talking about is, imagine you're looking for a graphics designer to do a poster, because when we were launching Shoplicity, we were looking for someone to design our posters. Then we were like, where are we going to find that person? We had now to chat with someone, to connect us with someone else. But why shouldn't everything be in Shoplicity? If you do photography, if you do graphic design, if you do coding, students can collaborate on projects in terms of, because Jean was to find me so that she may actualize her idea about coming up with the project in terms of the software applications in it. So it's all about that one platform that serves as a multi-purpose for everything, not only about e-commerce. So when every comrade has the awareness of utilizing this product to his or her best, and we are sharing that we'll do our best also to support, because if there'll be brand partnerships that maybe we talk with some companies that are willing to onboard campus comrades who are skillful in these sectors, and their skills are showcased on Shoplicity, then it will go on a higher advantage for KU students, because this is our first branch and this is our mother campus. Yeah.
All right, now Madam CEO, talk to us about the funding of this project. How does it happen? Are you having partnerships, or is it solely a student-centered? Like, I come with my skill, you come with your skill, you come with your skill, we form this thing together, and then we have shares or something of the sort.
Yes, so we are actually, our team consists of students, and we have personal contributions for funding of the startup. And we've also combined our skills. We do not yet have employees, yeah, and it's basically just us. But we do apply. We do want to start to apply for funding, yeah, to be able to host the website and other expenses that we have. Yeah.
So what's your opinion about young people getting themselves into entrepreneurship, the difficult part of it, the easy part of it? How would you advise someone who is with plans of starting a company, or just generally any startup?
Okay, I would advise you, look at the problem, make sure you have a problem that you want to solve, and really talk to these people who are facing this problem, get to know what kind of solution best suits them, and for sure just work with a lot of people, work on just help let them help you come up with that solution. And I can say it is not easy, but just keep pushing, because it works out, and yeah, and solving people's problems is just satisfactory.
Coming up with the prototype is also very key. Do not just think about the idea and just try to think how it will work. Just come up with the prototype. Then after coming up with the prototype, you'll now be able to navigate and check what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, how does the market take it, and probably it may not gain relevance maybe at that time that you have the idea, but as soon as you navigate with it, it will gain relevance. Yes.
I love what both of you are saying, that coming up with solutions to our own problems. What I've been hearing going on a lot, that Africans should come up with solutions to their own problems and not finding or copying or copycatting what other people are doing elsewhere. Now, you've mentioned that it has been around 3 weeks since the launch. How has traction been like, or how are people taking this up? Do you see more positivity, or what challenges have you encountered throughout this period that you've had this in the development phase, in the launch phase, and now that it's operational?
Okay, so maybe I should start from the development phase. Coming up with an idea, it's one thing, but now making plans to execute the idea is also another thing. So it took us time, remembering taking the fact that we are students and we need to code, we need to have the app, we need to have the web version. Okay, and all that's done. The next milestone, how will people take it? Because as far as much we do understand our product so much that we really have faith in it, maybe it's just the relevance that comes with it in terms of the way you've just stated at first, that why is it different from Jumia and why is it different from Kilimall? We're really trying to drive that change, that this is something different. This is something so specific to any comrade out here. And if we'll be scaling to other campuses, well and good, like UN Shoplicity, JKUAT Shoplicity, What Shoplicity. So driving the vision to a third party, it's not that it takes a toll on us, but we're really working hard to ensure that we are looking for ways also to solve other problems, so that we bridge the gap and any inefficiencies that comrades face right now. Yes, and Jean, do you feel like you may add anything?
I can say just juggling between our coursework and this startup has been a challenge, as well as funding. We have some expenses, but we cannot manage on our own as students.
Do you have like a patron, like a lecturer who is leading or who is helping in the same? Because with KU, we have the Chandara Innovation Hub. Have you had any assistance from the campus?
Not yet.
It's purely students.
Yes, it's purely students, and as of now, we do understand it's also non-profit. No listing fees, no commissions, no middlemen, and we're really looking forward to actually have people, if they'll be there to support, because we're seeing the vision with it.
Okay.
We're seeing the vision with it.
All right. Now, Jean, what will it take for you to expand this into other campuses, like he's mentioned, JKUAT chapter, UN? What will it take to ensure this expansion countrywide?
So it has to be a brand in KU first. We have to ensure that people really adopt and get used to having the organized marketing, organized commerce in the campuses. For the idea part, we have talked to some students from JKUAT and UN, and they really embraced the idea. So we just have to really market and get students to try, and they'll get used to it.
On the professional side of it, what if this is copied? What about the copyrights?
We do plan on patenting our idea very soon, but it is not yet patent. We hope nobody steals our idea.
We are live and so many people are watching, so ensure that you do that before that is taken from you, because that's a challenge that we've seen with most young people who get to start their businesses, but then they have not had the legal bindings or the legal rights of their art or what they are doing, and so they end up having something that is successful, but then they don't benefit from it. So also that is something that I thought you should also consider, or someone who is beginning should see that as the first step, the legal aspect of it. Now, as we bring this to an end, Ian, talk to us about the future of Shoplicity in terms of involvement of technology as assistance and all that. So what's the future of Shoplicity with technology involved?
With technology involved, I guess we'll be driving a change that our comrades who are looking upon us, probably if we'll be successful, and for sure we will be successful, taking from the fact that they will start from scratch, because these skills, the coding skills, the graphics design skills, these are things that are useful to comrades, because you cannot just study and expect you just at the end of your 4 years, 5 years, you get your degree. Everyone needs to have a side quest. Everyone needs to have a side hustle, things that they are doing apart from studies. Yeah, and if that's so, you'll be very successful. After the 4 years, you'll not be complaining that there are no jobs out here in Kenya, because you'll be your mind. We're trying to grow that entrepreneurial culture, because KU Shoplicity also advocates for anyone. If you have anything, try to make use of it.
Okay.
No wastage, just successful economies. Yes.
So any final words to our viewers back at home as we bring this to an end?
So any final words to our viewers back home is that believe you're the change. Believe that you're the man in the mirror that the world waits for you to work on. Whether anything small that you're working on, please don't stop. Just start the bit by bit. As I said earlier, come up with a prototype, get it working, and who knows, probably you might be the next Zuckerberg, you might be the next Jeff Bezos.
All right. Jean, any final words to our viewers back at home?
Yes, for any student entrepreneur out there, you have that small capital, you want to start to sell something, just come to open KU Shoplicity, post your listing on there, get ready to get your customers, and don't be afraid to start, because it is not an easy journey. Entrepreneurship is not an easy journey, but it just starts. You just start as you have, whether you're scared or not, you just start and things go on from there.
All right. Thank you so much, Ian and Jean, for making time for us and for our viewers back at home. I hope this becomes a national development throughout all the campuses with marketing and all that. I hope it gets to the next level. So to our viewers back at home, these are founders of Simplicity, that is KU chapter. Let me say KU chapter because it's going to be expanding to different campuses across the country, and that has been a discussion on e-commerce and how they're allowing or enabling young entrepreneurs in campuses to showcase their businesses, promote their businesses, and for buyers to get access to trustworthy products and services in campus. Coming up next is a discussion on how to involve the young women in STEM careers. That discussion coming up shortly after the break. Get your life.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Action. Welcome.
The RUA, the DVC Research and Innovation, Professor Okumu, Professor Wanjohi, other deans who are here, my colleague, Mr. Peter Otieno from Site Severs, Professor Mbugua, my friend, other professors who are here, like my supervisor, Dr. Lubna, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Including, I want to also recognize my friend, DJ Euphoric, and I don't know whether he's still around. And my other friend from KU, I was really shocked to find him here. Hata sikuwa ninakumbuka ni mwanafunzi hapa. Ndugu Paul Manana. Ebu mpigieni Paul Manana makofi. Because he's a wonderful, wonderful person. KU, if Paul Manana is still a student here, I would recommend that you absorb him immediately as one of your staff, because he has a lot of potential. And my friend from the deaf community, how are you? Okay, my sign name is Alex, and there before I was a student. I was a student teacher here in this university. And before I say about myself, allow me to read the speech that I was given by Dr. Michael Munene, who is our executive director. And before I even read the speech, I also want to acknowledge my colleague Winnie Mbogwa, who has come with me. So Winnie, you just stand and say hi. Yeah. Winnie is the officer in charge of autism and related developmental disabilities, a new program within National Council for Persons with Disabilities. So Dr. Munene wrote this speech that I'm going to read, and then I will say something small about myself and KU. I'm deeply honored to join you today as we hold this annual Disability Awareness Day, the day that seeks to promote inclusion, accessibility, and empowerment for students and staff with disabilities. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the university management, the student leadership for organizing and supporting this important event. I am aware that today is the 16th event to be organized by Kenyatta University, Directorate of Disability Services, headed by Dr. Lubna Mazrui. This unit was established in 2010 and has continued to support students and staff to promote awareness, student empowerment, and enhancement of disability-friendly services within the university. I am humbled by your honor to invite me as the chief guest as I bring you greetings from National Council for Persons with Disabilities. I wish to note that your theme for this year, disability inclusion, higher education through student empowerment, aligns very well with our National Council core mandate and the entire country leadership at large. Kenya has made a significant stride in advancing disability rights. The Constitution of Kenya guarantees equality and freedom from discrimination, while Persons with Disabilities Act 2025 promotes accessibility, inclusion, and equal opportunities in education and employment. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities, which is a government agency that was established in 2004, carries the mandate to promote, protect, and monitor the rights of persons with disabilities. Over the years, we have implemented flagship programs such as the Economic Empowerment Support, LPO financing, provision of assistive devices, educational bursaries, and cash transfers for persons with severe disabilities. These initiatives have enabled thousands of individuals and families to live with greater independence, dignity, and opportunity. The Council supports inclusive employment and enterprise development through scholarships, assistive devices, provision of assistive devices, trainings, linkages with employers, committed to inclusive recruitment, and we encourage you to register with the Council to benefit from these services. We work collaboratively with the government agencies, universities like yourself, private sectors, and development partners to expand access to skills development and employment entrepreneurship. Allow me to highlight two critical government initiatives that directly relate to your future careers. One, the reservation of 5% of employment opportunities for persons with disabilities. Public institutions are required to allocate at least 5% of job opportunities to persons with disabilities. This policy addresses historical exclusion and reduces unemployment and promotes workplace diversity. The Council monitors compliance through quarterly reports from ministries, departments, and agencies, and publishes annual disability inclusion report. To support job seekers access employment opportunity, the Council operates NCPWD Career Portal, which registers persons with disabilities and links them to employers. This portal ensures accessible job postings and eliminates barriers such as inaccessible website,
All right, welcome back. And we are seated once again for a discussion on women in STEM. And helping us get deeper into this discussion is a lady who has ventured into statistics and programming, a finalist right here in Kenyatta University under the KUFEST community. And she has been having discussions with young girls in high schools, primaries, advising them, mentoring them, making them understand that this is not a male-dominated field and it can also have women in it. So Mary Gadhoni is with us here for a discussion on how to involve young ladies in STEM. Mary, how are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you for having me today. Looking forward for an amazing conversation. I invite all of our viewers to be part of the conversation.
We're already in the discussion. So we have so many advices given to young people.
Yes.
Kuwa daktari, kuwa engineer, kuwa this and this. So where does yours come from?
Thank you so much for this question. Growing up, all of us wanted to be neurosurgeons, all of us wanted to be doctors, all of us wanted to be pilots. But for me, it's been an ingrown thing inside of me to just step up and do more, especially in the STEM field. I always knew from a very young age, I wanted to be in the STEM field. I wanted to understand how things work, how things function, and how just they come to be. So from a very young age, I knew for sure. I didn't know the specific field I'll be in later, but I knew for sure that I'm gonna be in a place where we are just learning how things work in life. Yeah.
So someone would say that you are someone who loves numbers, right?
Yes.
You're a girl of numbers. I've seen that with many ladies. And talk to us about this society, KU Fest. How are your functions, structures? How do you work? And how relevant is it, especially right here in campus? And because it's not easy to change people in campus because they have already chosen their career paths. So those who are coming up, or for those who are in STEM, the support it gives to them. So talk to us about structures of KU Fest.
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, it's KU Fest or KUFEST, either way. Yeah. First of all, allow me to start by beginning saying I am KUFEST. We are KUFEST. Basically, KUFEST is a community of young ladies in the STEM field. That is in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are ladies who are having their ongoing studies still in campus in KU. And as you said, it's a very huge community. First of all, it provides a very safe space to ladies pursuing these courses. Sometimes the journey is not always linear or always easier. That's why we have KUFEST. We have a very safe place, a very safe space where we provide a conducive environment for the ladies. We share our stories, our encounters, and we just encourage each other to go through. For the structure of KUFEST, we have the executive part and of course now the membership part. But what we basically do, first of all, our mentorship has our heart. When you say mentorship as a heart, we really mean it. We look at it in three dynamics. One of all, peer-to-peer mentorship, that I'm going to talk about it. And we call ourselves peer neighbors. I'm also going to delve deeper into what that is. Also, we receive mentorship from people who have gone ahead of us in the journey. And also now we give back to the community because, and again, our cup is being filled. We really have to power to the young ladies. So basically, that is what KUFEST does. We also have academic trips. This semester, we have been to various industries. That by that, we really mean we have to bridge the gap between academia and industry. So we look for opportunities for our ladies to be exposed to the industry field. Those are just part of what we do as KUFEST. And of course, we have a very amazing resource center just around the school where it has equipment, it has Wi-Fi, where people can just go do their research. That's what KU Fest or KUFEST is all about. Also, research has our mentorship. By the way, it also began as a research program for the ladies over 15 years ago, but it has evolved to become a safe space where ladies can dream more and can just stay grounded in the STEM field. Yeah.
So you've talked so much about mentorship.
Yes.
It looks like there is a really big underlying problem or challenge that is facing ladies. Talk to us about that is really pushing for the mentorship, because you can't want or crave a safe space if there is an unsafe space. So talk to us about the unsafe bit that you are running away from?
Thank you so much. I feel like with many young ladies, one of the things that they deal with is self-doubt or also imposter syndrome. When you go to young ladies, they are like, this field, this is not for ladies, where we're to go write poems. You can't come solve maths, right? So there's that safe space in terms of I'm doubting myself. I feel like I don't belong in this space. But now mentorship comes in. Ladies that have gone ahead of us, right? They have just done something in STEM, just something phenomenal in the STEM field, in the technology field, in the engineering field, and they've shown you it's possible. So you don't go there fearing you're like, it's just like a ripple effect. Just because I am, you also can be. And me becoming confident in the STEM field that I'm in, it shows another lady who is dealing with, maybe I don't deserve to be here, it's so possible. So when they pour into us, we pour into others, and now the ripple effect continues. When another lady is being poured into, she pours into another, and the cycle continues building. And you see, when you empower one part of the ecosystem, that is the ladies, you're just fortifying the whole ecosystem. That's why mentorship has our whole heart as KUFEST.
Yeah. So you are at the mid-level. There is those who have been in the field for quite some time.
Yes.
Then there is your part, and then there is now the young girls who you mentor in high schools, primary schools.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Oh yes. First of all, allow me to start with the us giving back into the community. So over this semester, we've been really occupied with going to mentorship to the young ladies in grade 8 and grade 9 who are just making their transition to the STEM field, or they're just debating among themselves, should I choose this, should I not do it? And at the same time, allow me to say that this is a project that was funded by the British Council, and it was actually a partnership between Kenyatta University and Nottingham Trent University in the UK. And our role, well, first of all, we underwent art training, because first of all, you have to be poured into in order to have something to give back. But also we went to 5 schools in Nairobi, 5 schools in Kirinyaga. We're just talking to young ladies, just showing them that it is possible, just showing them that there is a possibility for each and every one of them. And of course, now to the other level, which is us, and that is the peer-to-peer. It's me who is in statistics, exchanging with someone who's doing mechanical engineering, where we come and talk about what you're just facing, what have you seen is working there, what can we do in order to boost ourselves, in order to maybe to just improve ourselves, not just in matters education, but also it matters confidence, it matters life, it matters self-awareness. And of course, now the final part where we get to be poured into, we have mentors coming in. We actually have events where we have mentors coming in. We could just go to an organization and just also one lady who has been in that field, knows how the field works, knows how to maneuver through, and they just tell us, and by that we just manage to bridge that gap between the ladies who are in campus and the ladies who have gone ahead of us and are in the workspace.
Yeah. Now, throughout all this, what's your most defining moment, both when you're poured into and when you pour onto others?
That's an amazing question. First of all, I'm a product of mentorship. That means someone really believed in me. My most defining moment has to be when I see a mentee that I've worked with just showing up boldly in that safe space. It actually proves that the whole walk of the line, my mentor, me, and my mentee. So I think the most defining moment for me is when I see someone I've worked with, shared with, shown how I did this, how I moved here, just perspiring. That is a very amazing and awesome moment. Yes.
And in terms of experiences, what caught your eye on both sides?
Oh, yes. I'm going to give the two dynamics. First of all, when we went to some schools in Kirinyaga, we started talking to the ladies, because that is what we went to do there. And I saw ladies shrinking the power of their dreams. I saw ladies just dreaming to just go to the next school. You ask her, what do you dream with your life? I just want to go to that school that is neighboring there. And you can see how ladies can tend to shrink their dreams, especially when they're not in the urban areas. So that really caught my eye, and I believe that when we came back to school, and having talked to them, that they saw that there is more beyond that school, there is more beyond the global space, there is more to it. So that really caught my eye. Another thing that catches my eye every single time is when you see the spark in the eyes of our mentors, how they are so eager to just pour into us. We don't really pay them as much, but they just have this eagerness to pour into ourselves and to say that we become better people. That really catches my eye. Yeah.
They say that someone's dream or vision is best on the exposure.
Yeah, true.
What are the plans of expansion to other counties, or if you may not be able to get into every school in Kenya, what are the plans to ensure that every girl has an equal opportunity, that is in terms of exposure?
Yeah, you know, they say you can never go beyond where you've been exposed to, right? And one thing I love about this current regime is technology, and it's social media, right? So social media reaches where we can't be able to reach. So right now we are actually based in COFEST, right? We do our mentorship programs maybe around Kiambu, around the central region, and we would really wish sometimes to go to Kisumu, to go to Wajir, to reach a lady in Turkana, and that's where our social media aspects comes in. So our plan basically is to fortify our social media strategy, where we make videos, where we just put it there out. We just show them what exposure looks like. We show them what is really possible. We can't be here, but them just seeing us, hearing our voices through that, through their phones, through their laptops, or through their gadgets, or just through the media. That is a very a powerful strategy that you're looking into right now. Yeah.
Now, as we bring this to an end, what is the biggest setback that you've seen throughout all this project? You've mentioned that the research began with ladies 15 years back, going back that very long time, because 15 years ago I was still a kid. Now, looking at this journey, what do you consider to be the biggest setback in terms of involving young women in STEM, or putting their voices up with advocacy and, you know, mentorship, exposure, and all this? What do you think is the biggest setback?
Thank you. The stereotypes that are there, for sure, we can never deny the fact that stereotypes still exist even right now. As much as we've done empowerment to ladies and all, there are certain stereotypes that the society has, and you actually find that a lady has to do twice as much as work in order to prove that she belongs to be on that table. She has to do this a lot of work. If it's one project she's supposed to do, she's gonna double check it, because she has to like prove something she's worth it just because she's a lady. So like that, yes, she's qualified, she does a good job, but she has to like prove this, that I can do it, not just because I'm a lady that I can do it. She feels this burden of just because I'm a lady, I feel like I need to put in more work in order to have a place at the table. So that has been a very big setback, and that's why mentorship again comes in, to show you that you belong, to create a safe space, to show you the direction, and to show you that you belong on that chair. Yeah.
All right. Now, the biggest problem that has been there is when young ladies are believed to be how would I say it? Making emotional decisions. Yes. So that is in leadership, and we've had comments like the worst leaders are female. I don't know if you've heard of that. I wouldn't mention countries who happen to be our neighbors, but there are these comments that are made, ladies making decisions with their emotions and all that. So what angle of advice do you give in relation to this? Despite the stereotypes?
Thank you so much. I feel like all of us are emotional beings, but as life would have it, ladies tend to be more emotional, right? But that doesn't mean that they can still reason logically, that they can still, when they come to the decision table, I'm going to look at all the cards, right? I'm going to say, this is logic, this is where I put my emotions. So that's where emotion intelligence actually comes in. That's why we encourage ladies to be to learn how to be emotional intelligent, to not be swayed by their moods. So So when I come to the decision table, I'm going to bring with myself the logic. I'm going to reason logically. This is how it should go. This is how I feel. But I'm going to outweigh all of them and go back and make the most logic decision. So we're not I'm not saying that women are not emotional beings, but when you come to the table, it's so important and so crucial to bring a reasonable being, to bring your logic part to make the decisions. Yes, and not just be swayed by your moods. Today don't feel like coming, so I won't come. No, it's I don't feel like coming, but I'm showing up anyway. And I've not asked, but I feel like I want to add on the importance of really showing up, because now showing up, it counters the effects of the emotions or how you're feeling. You show up feeling that way, but you get the job done. Yeah,
you get the job done. At the end of the day, the work was done. How it was done, none of anyone's business. Now, as we bring this to an end, any final words to our viewers back at home?
Oh, yes. First of all, I really hope they've enjoyed the short conversation that you've had. But first of all, allow me to talk to the ladies out there who feel like they want to join the STEM course, that it is so possible to be a lady in STEM, because there are ladies who have been there, who are there, and who show us that it's so possible. And of course now, the power of showing up every day, the power of showing up consistently. Show up. Yeah.
All right, Mary, thank you so much for making time for us. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed this convo.
You're a very good is it interviewee?
Thank you so much
for making time for us this morning. I hope to see you once again.
I hope
with even more bigger and greater news, greater achievements, moving across the country in different places.
Yeah.
So that will really please me to hear.
Thank you so much, and see you at the top.
To our viewers back at home, thank you so much. This has been On the Lounge with Mary, who is a member of KU Fest, or KUFest, like she mentioned, and she's really trying to get more ladies into the STEM industry. She's trying to have more people understand that anyone can really do this, anyone can really achieve their dreams. So coming up next is the discussion on the state of the nation, and of course we'll be joined by our very own Ojwang Mariam and Jeremiah Ochieng, who will be helping us understand what is happening in the country and what are our voices. Stay tuned for that discussion after the break.
Encourage you to, one, invest in your skills. 2, seek experience, internship. And 3, believe in yourself and your abilities. Number 4, build strong networks. Connect with mentors, lecturers, alumni, and professional bodies. There is the entrepreneurship as a pathway to employment. Employment is not only a route to success. Entrepreneurship offers powerful opportunities. Many persons with disabilities are thriving in technology, agriculture, creative industry, consultancy, innovation, and allows you to create opportunities for yourself and for others. Remember, success is not defined solely by the positions you hold or the income you earn. True success lies in the impact you create, the lives you touch, the barriers you break, and the example you set for those who follow. Let your journey be guided by determination, courage, and belief in your potential. Do not allow anyone to place limit on your dreams. The road ahead may be challenging, but it is also full of possibilities. With education, resilience, and the right support system that is offered, like for example, by National Council and Kenyatta University, you will go far. Closing, I wish to conclude by quoting Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, in his message to mark the International Day of Persons with Disabilities on that of December 2025 last year. He said, and I quote, "When we remove barriers to the participation of persons with disabilities, we create a stronger, more inclusive society and unlock the potentials of millions of people from the benefit of all." End of quote. Thank you, Dr. Michael Munene, Chief Executive Officer and Director, National Council for Persons with Disabilities. Sasa hiyo ni ya mkubwa wangu, Dr. Munene. I wish to just say one or two things about myself and Kenyatta University. First of all, when I'm here, this stage
All right, welcome back. And once again, it is a time that most of you all have been waiting for, especially those who want to know what is happening in the country. This is with regards to governance and politics, education, health, everything in between. That is what we are having right now on the State of the Nation, and this is specifically newspaper review. Helping me get to review the newspapers this morning is our very own. I'm used to calling him our very own, but you're very own from
I'm about to be a member of county assembly representative of this area, so I'm a very own.
All right, our very own Ojwang Mariam, thank you so much for making time for us. And of course, Jeremiah Ocheng, thank you so much for making time for us also. Please say hi to our viewers back at home.
Okay, hello. Thank you very much for this opportunity. This is Karan Ocheng Jeremiah. Thank you.
Karibu sana. Now, Ojwang, let me begin with you. Following what transpired yesterday in Kawes, that is not on the news. It may be on the newspapers, but not on the headlines. So, following what transpired yesterday in Kawes West, where there were evictions, was it evictions or robbery? Something like that, where there were thugs that got in, and people were driven away from their homes, and they wanted to. It's a case that says I'm getting this off. It's people who have been living at their place for quite some time, since the 90s, and then it's like a private grabbing that is ongoing. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Such cases are happening, and they are a threat to health, they are a threat to security, they are a threat even to our own being and our dignity. And Kawes West has been in major headlines for the good part of that month because of such things concerning people being stolen from, people wanting to break into your property. And there was a time 2 thieves were burnt along the Kawes West Station Road during the day. We normally don't do that in Kawes West. And now we're talking about forceful evictions by people who want maybe to take your property, to take your land. And the people are asking, so ikiwa katiba inatulinda na inatulinda mali yetu, then what is really happening? But as that is happening far from home in places like Miwani, as addressed by the Standard today's issue, there are tycoons even from outside the country who are collecting a number of title deeds, and they say they have bought all those lands, and it is their time now to evict such people. So it is not only happening in Nairobi, Kawes West, it's also happening in the broad parts of this country. But It calls on us as the youth of this country. I say the youth of this country because sisi kama vijanas are the anchors of our today and the future. Why? Because the future is dependent on us and our children. But those who are ahead of us, I'm talking about our parents, grandparents, ndo hao wenye haya mashamba yenye wanaibiwa, na they really don't have the power to fight for themselves. So they are calling upon us, the youths, who are supposed to be custodians of the future of this country, to protect them. To ask these questions about transparency and accountability concerning their properties. You've heard in the upcoming Finance Bill 2026 that they are still going to ensure that we do not have what we call freehold lands. We have been in this country, our forefathers fought for this country, people went to Lancaster in 1963, they came back with a lot of land ordinations, and they said they were fighting for our lands. But today as we speak, we are talking about leases where all your land, the land you call ancestral land, after 99 years, you are supposed to apply again. And if your application is unsuccessful, then that land will be given to another family. And we are asking, then where is the continuation of our blood and the blood that fought for this country to ensure that we have a flag that is erected on the top of Mount Kenya, showing us that the black of that color represents us forever and ever, amen. So it doesn't matter what kind of Indian, what kind of white, what kind of red, they won't come and operate in this country. It is a country of black people. We also have the white that shows the peace that we have. But they say that amani haiji kwa inja ya upanga peke. So there is red there to show that the people of Kenya are prepared to defend their land, to defend their human dignity, even by blood, because it has ever been done by the Mau Maus. The Mau Maus who inspired generations across the globe. I'm saying across the globe because even in Jamaica, and the inspiration of their Rasta came from Mau Mau and what we did for this country. But again, on that same flag, we have green color that represents whatever we are talking about. Our land, our heritage, and how we should protect it. It should be a reminder. Tukiamka leo tupate people like Suba North MP Karoli Omondi akiongea kuhusu vile mataikunu kwao wanaibia watu wengi mashamba na wanakuwa wako na title deeds wamejiekea, wako na forged documents za kuonyeshana hiyo land over 9,000 acres ni yao. Sisi kama vijana tuko na jukumu la kusimama na kuwapigania hao wazee.
All right, now allow me to widen this a little bit, Jeremiah. Yes. On the cases of land in this country. If we look at what we have been talking about for the last 2 months, I think, or so, the story of Goonism in the country. Yes. One of them is related to politics, yes, and the other biggest is related to land. Yes. You'd found, still related to politicians, you'll find someone gets a chunk of land and then they want it for themselves, so they get goons, numbers going up to sometimes 500 goons sent to one place to ensure that either the owner of the land does not build the perimeter wall, because in land cases they call it miradi. Ukishaweka wall, that's your land. So if someone else comes and gets it down, it's theirs or something like that. So the biggest cases of goonism in the country are related to politics, and the second part of it is land. What we saw in Kar West were goons taken to that land and forcing evictions, serving court orders in the morning on the day of eviction. So what do you think as a country we should be doing on the same? Because looking at Standard also, the Bold newspaper, they have given, they're accusing cabinet secretaries, and I just want to read what they're saying here, that now there's a push from powerful state figures. So what do you think about this repetitive state that is a chaotic state that is fueled by land in Kenya specifically?
Okay. Thank you once again for this opportunity. Talking about land, I think first we might blame the culture of Goonism in terms of land ownership and such, but again, there's also a problem with the people who buy land. In some of these cases, of course, in some of isolated cases, in not all cases, goons are being brought about to enforce some of the court orders, which is not the case, because the judiciary itself does not have a law enforcement agency. So the judiciary depends on the executive for enforcing that. The moment that we are involving goons in enforcing evictions, it means now that we are degenerating into lawlessness. And this is a culture that we have entertained as a country. Even as we might want to blame the political class or the government or any other agency, as individuals, we are the ones who have entertained this culture. Then what I was talking about, ownership of land. There are people who are buying land like Mandazi. You saw recently when those evictions were being done, someone is coming with a receipt that was just written, that was handwritten. You know, land is not a piece of cake that you will just go into a bakery and you will be sold to. You need to do your due diligence. That's why we always tell people, before you buy your land, please try to engage a legal counsel so that they may help you, so that you can get a legal recourse in the case of things that are happening, like the one that happened in Kahawa West, which is so unfortunate. But I'll blame it on us. But like Anyango Mariam has said, it's now contingent on us. I wouldn't put it on a specific demographic of the population. It's contingent on us as a society, whether you are a youth, whether you are the other generation who perhaps are the ones that are holding some of these chunks of land. But on matters goonship, like I've said, that one I'll blame it solely on us citizens, because in most instances we will always condemn this culture of goonism when it's affecting us. But the moment this goonism is being meted on my opponent, I won't condemn it. Do you know what I'll say? What was this guy going to do in an opponent's forum? No, that's what I will say, because at this moment it's benefiting me. But if it's not benefiting me, I'll condemn it. So when we are condemning it, we should not have that hypocrisy or I'll call it selective amnesia, that I'll just be selectively outraged because it's affecting me at that moment. But when it's affecting my opponent, then I'll be asking, what was he doing at that place? So I'll start victim blaming. So we should not apply double standards in this case of goonism. Thank you.
That's a nice perspective.
Yes.
Where they say that corruption is only corruption if you're not if it's not if it's somewhere else. But if it's me, nepotism, tribalism, it's just a good thing. So with this case, right now, still on the investigative part of it, with so much that is presented that is not accounted for. So it's something that even if we talk about it right now, we may not be able to get to a conclusive answer. Now let's talk about the summit that is currently ongoing in the country.
Yes.
Not the biggest headline on the Daily Nation. We'll get to the headline later on. But something on geopolitics. Macron's plea as France seeks new ties in Africa. That is given prominence as a highlight on the Daily Nation. And we've had different opinions from different leaders. Some of them saying, you know what, there is a fallout, and now France is moving to Kenya because of the fallout in the West Africa. So many discussions going on. Others still saying that regardless of whether each and every president that is coming in the country or the deals that are going to be signed benefiting their country, it is still a situation where African leaders are working with the begging cups. Is that the situation for you with what is happening?
It is unfortunately the situation in a country where we keep saying that Africa should focus on rising. People will always use narratives. I said that the other time. Everyone knows that the need is for Africa to rise. So you will welcome everyone, and you will ensure that the titles that we are having are titles that are showing Africa rising, like Africa Forward Summit. And we have seen France and President Emmanuel Macron still undergoing a lot of turbulences in the West Africa, Burkina Faso being one of them. And now they are saying that Paris is going to ensure that we are having an evolution of geopolitics, an evolution of military strategies and cooperation in Anglophone countries. Which is the best gateway to enter into Anglophone African countries? It is Kenya, because Kenya is a huge country out there, to a point that if you ask someone who is in Europe or India or the US as a continent, which is the capital of Africa, they will tell you Nairobi, Kenya, because they think it is that huge. So we are now in a business of trying to clean and sell France and their president. That is why you saw the summit has a lot inside the conference center, KICC, and outside, whereby we even had a stopping of traffic so that the president can run with our own Eliud Kipchoge. We've also seen him being shown how to prepare ugali by Ombachi, and they've sung about the finale that is there. And the people who are from Arsenal, they did not question that we are singing one time here, but in the boardroom we are there teaching presidents how finality is. But either way, a good thing is a good thing. A bad thing is a bad thing. Good people are good people, and bad people are bad people. Good people are good people. Why? Before they colonized us, it is recorded in our history that we were welcoming. It is recorded in our history that the British themselves found a very hard ground in Nigeria. That is why in the process of colonization, their English still sounds Nigerian, but ours, we are sounding like them, we are like them, and we are proud of that. We shouldn't be. We should charter our way on our own as Africa. We should find ways to unite as Africans so that we can move now Africa forward without moving with a cap every other time begging nipe. Right now we are nipe, and we are saying that by Sunday France and Kenya signed 11 agreements, and now they are talking about 250 business and government deals to help us Kenyans. Let me tell you what they are not telling you. It is Kenyans helping France, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. So what exactly are we supposed to be doing differently? Let's Jeremiah answer that question. That is, if you agree to his sentiments that we are helping France and these foreign countries, and like these conversations of our presidents or African presidents are basically puppets to our former colonizers. Let me use former. And what should we be doing differently? Because Africa is a rich continent. We have companies in the Silicon Valley, that are powered by Africa's minerals, but then we don't get to have decisions, to make these decisions. In cases like for carbon credits, we are the one who are preserving the environment, using electric cars, planting trees and all that. But then we are not having a voice detecting these carbon credits. How are they paid? What are the rates? We don't have a voice. So how should Africa react when it comes to interacting with these colonial powers?
Okay, thank you. On the Africa Forward Summit, it's important to note that it's the first time that the summit is being held in a Anglophone country, and we can look it from a two-tier perspective. We can look it from the negative perspective and the positive perspective that it might get us as a country. If I start with the positive perspective, Kenya of late, I think for the past 2 decades, Kenya has placed itself as the geopolitical and technological hub of not only the East African region, but also of the continent. From that backdrop, I can say that's what I think made France to entertain the idea of hosting the summit in Africa. So if we are to look at it from that perspective, then it calls upon us to go and look at some of these deals that have been entered into. Are they beneficial in terms of the things that we are trying to do? Because as it has been figuratively said, Kenya is the Silicon Valley of Africa, meaning that we are leading in terms of technological adoption. And that's true even statistically. You've seen it's been determined that Kenyans are the highest absorbers of, I think it was the LLMs, Open AI LLMs ChatGPT. So it tells you about Kenya in terms of technology. But if you are to look at it from the other perspective, the negative perspective, it's true. France has been having a rough in the Francophone countries in the West, particularly with Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. And this is why they have been having it rough, because despite the fact that they were there some years back as colonizers, France still wants to control these countries in terms of governance, in terms of governments in place. They want to make and unmake. The moment they make a government, let's say for instance, Karan today becomes the president of Mali. If I don't subscribe to their demands, they'll find a way to cause a coup so that they install someone that is a puppet to them. So you know why most of these Western countries are treating us the way they are treating us is because most of our heads of states have just accepted Africa to be treated like a case to solve. That's why whenever we are dealing with these Western powers, they don't deal with us as equal partners, as trading partners. They are treating us as a case to solve, that this is a problem that should be solved, which is not the case. Because even yesterday, Macron himself acknowledged that Africa has the youngest population. That means the future of markets is in Africa. And that's why every power, every global superpower and economic power, including China, is trying to court Africa. Not just because of the minerals itself, and also the human capital that is in Africa, because they know the future of markets is in Africa. Because if you look at these other countries, their populations are in high decline, including China itself. So that's why they are considering Africa. But the problem is with the leadership that we have. They have accepted to be treated like a case to solve, and they are just submitting to these people's demands. But again, this draws back to us as the citizens, as the people who vote some of these regimes in. Do we really take our time, for instance, in questioning the foreign policies that some of these presidential candidates do present to us? We don't question that. Because we only concentrate on some few issues and some negative issues, but do we even take our time and ask ourselves, so and so is buying, what are their foreign policies? How is this person A going to relate, let's say, with the America? How is he relating with the United Kingdom? How are we going to relate with the World Bank and these Bretton Woods financial institutions? We don't question that. That's why we end up with leaders who will readily submit to these people's demand without questioning what these demands what are the long-term effects of some of the demands that these people do bring across. Thank you.
So for the young people, I've seen a shift in terms of how we embrace foreign cultures.
Yes.
And despite the fact that the older generation used to have, culture in them, and there is erosion and all that, we've seen young people try to get back to their cultures with, having exhibitions and all that, trying to get back to their roots. Could this be among the reasons that will have us as Africans, as Kenyans, get back to solving our own problems or creating solutions for ourselves? The discussion that we had before, we had young entrepreneurs from Kenyatta University trying to solve Kenyatta University problem. Could this be the shift that we need as a people, and not expecting, help from other countries?
Yes, I'll agree with you. The moment we discover our potential as a country, as a region, as a continent, that will be the shift that is needed. That's the paradigm shift that we need to realize that we are not a case to solve, that we have so much to offer, not so much that should be offered to us. We are the ones who are offering so much, and we should be treated as equal partners. That's why we've always encouraged the calls that Africa, even in important sectors like the United Security Council, Africa should have a permanent seat, because Africa has so much to offer to the world than we really know. So when we look at what the young people are doing, that's really commendable, because we are trying to tell these people that we can solve our problems without necessarily depending on some of these foreign countries to solve some of the problems that we are undergoing. So it's something that is really commendable and should be encouraged. Yeah.
Ojwang, apart from our leadership, it's messy, we all know that. So what else should we be doing as a people to ensure that we get from this mindset that we need, there is so much controversial theories regarding WHO, infections, viruses and all that, getting ourselves from IMF, getting ourselves from, what should we be doing as a country apart from changing our leadership? Because there is also a part that we play as a people.
An analogy is told of two lambs, young ones of sheep. One is in a grazing land and there's only grass before it. The other is in the same grazing land, but before it there is a cage. Inside that cage there is a hyena that is just growling at it, but not really getting out of the cage. Months into their survival, that lamb that is seeing a cage and hyena inside dies, and the other one flourishes, yet no one has touched either of them. The problem is fear. The lamb that is seeing hyena in a trap is afraid, and that fear drives it. If you told that lamb that hyena may be dangerous, but it is in a cage so it cannot harm you, so please focus on developing yourself and ensuring your life, because you are not a case to be helped. You are a solution to the world. The biggest empowerment tool is education. That is according to the first president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. But you will find in our day and time that education may not be accessible as we may want in schools. But if education is a lifelong process, then it means people can read even when at home. So it is upon ourselves to tell our fellow Africans, and especially Kenyans, because I'm a Kenyan, that we are capable, that we have the potential, that we are the product, that we are not a problem to be solved. God placed us in a place that is even talked about in Bible stories. There were times when Ethiopia was so huge, it was going to Israel to try and conquer them. But today, the people of Ethiopia or Africa at large, you can only tell them that they need France for them to survive, that they need United States for them to survive, that they need Russia and China for them to survive. We have also seen our young sisters and brothers going to the United Arab Emirates in search of better pastures, in search of greener pastures, and they come back to our continent Africa, into our country Kenya, either in coffins or in dilapidated states that still needs us to help them. If we were honest and frank with each other, you can help Karan, Karan can help me, I can help her, because we are all the same. The spirit of Ubuntu says, I am, because we are, right? Those countries that are together and have formed in their own associations to colonize us, it's because they have figured that first, and they are united in their homeland. We need to be united so that we can tell these people, okay, no man is an island. You want to come to our country? You are coming, as Karan is saying, partners. We have minerals. We have fertile lands. We have fertile seeds. You are coming as partners to buy our products, not to buy our raw materials, go process them, and come sell them to us 3 times the price you bought it from us. It is not fair. But it is only us, the Africans, na saizi nasema vijana, that should tell our people, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your daughter that you are a powerful person. If you are an African, if you are having that dark skin. That's why they are saying that those people who don't have melanin are people with disability. Because people have realized that melanin is power. Melanin is Africa. We've seen 12 years as a slave, Africans being portrayed as slaves. We need to realize that we are not the slaves. We have always been the chosen generation. We can do that. Mimi niko na book. Hiyo book ikikamu wakisoma wataelewa.
Believe, become. All right.
Become.
Now, I want to get your final thoughts on the stories with the former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, with this case that is currently ongoing, and each day with a new case. Mimi sahi sitaki kukua deputy president. I just want to get state benefits and all that. I was wrongfully impeached. Yes, there is state capture is not the right word. There is the executive bulldozing its way through all these fields. We have the case that is currently so hot with the opposition claiming that the DCI is doing nothing to ensure that justice is served to the slain pastor. We have the issue of Gunism. We have that implicated Raymond Omolo when he was in Kisumu. We have the issues with judiciary, with all these allegations that the executive is ruling over all these other states or all these other arms of government. So I just have a simple question that both of you will answer as a final remark. And do you think Gachagua will get justice? That is my question.
Your question, if Gachagua will get justice?
Yes.
In this case, I wouldn't know what justice in this case means, because from where I sit and from where I know, from what I know, the court in this case, in the impeachment motion of Gachagua, will not look at the merits of the impeachment case in Parliament, because that's a jurisdiction of Parliament. The court will just look at the procedure that was carried out. So, in this case, justice will only be served in Gachagua's case if justice means nullifying the impeachment motion. If his team, his legal team, can prove to the court that his rights were infringed, his rights for fair hearing. But from where I sit and from where it was done, procedurally, the impeachment was done right. So, what they can question is what the legal team of Gachagua is questioning is the timing and the haste in which the impeachment was done. So that's what they can rely on. But I can tell this one, I can tell you for free. If they question the merits of the impeachment, that one is not a jurisdiction of the court, because an impeachment motion is quasi judicial process, in the sense that it's both a political process and a legal process. A political process in the sense that the houses of parliament are the ones who are determining whether this person being charged of A, B, C, D. In this case, the parliament is the court. So the judiciary's work in this case is just to look at the procedure. And in terms of looking at the procedure, was Gachagua accorded fair hearing? If the legal team of Gachagua can prove that, then we are sure Gachagua will get his justice, if that's what means justice for him.
Would you say that the judiciary is like a backing dog? Because if we look at its point, the point that it comes in, it's just looking, was it procedurally done?
Yes.
And in support of, this is in support of corruption, because if I say that I bought this phone at 10 million and receipts say it's 10 million, the board approved. Did the board approve? Yes. So do you think that the judiciary in this case, with cases of corruption and all that, it's just a backing dog?
No, it's not, because if that's why I said if the legal team can prove that he wasn't given a fair hearing, then he will get that justice. Because I still believe the judiciary, despite the fact that there are still allegations that the judiciary is just but a part of the executive, or it's in cahoots with the executive to do some of the dirty dealings for the executives. I still believe if the legal team of Gachagua, and even in other cases, if you can prove beyond any reasonable doubt, I don't see the reason as to why you should not be accorded justice. And when we are talking about the independence of these arms of government, I think for an arm of government like the National Assembly, it gets a bit tricky, because most of these legislators, they are elected on specific parties, and these parties are on different sides of the divides. So they are easily you might be easily influenced to support a cause perhaps that you might not support yourself, but because it's your party that is telling you to do ABCD, and parties have structures and you must adhere to discipline. So you find that on the issue of independence of legislature, I find it to be a bit tricky, because there will be powers in trying to pass some policies and making some consequential decisions like impeachment. But again, this goes back to us, the voters, like I always say. Who are you voting? Because we are voting some individuals who cannot even take 1 minute to debate a motion. We have parliamentarians who will just vote yes for the sake of voting yes. If Gachagua's impeachment will be nullified based on the procedure that it was done unprocedurally, it just shows the kind of parliament that you have. Do these people take time to read the procedures that they are supposed to do? There are some laws that have been passed in parliament that are really problematic. You find us as citizens, we are blaming the president. It's right to blame the president. He does the assent, but his work is more of a ceremonial job, just to assent to the bill. Who does the dirty work from the first reading up to the last step where the president is supposed to assent? It's the parliamentarians that we elect. Again, we have these issues to do with public participation. Do we take our time to go and participate in them actively, not just to go and sit there for the sake of sitting there, and because there are some few sitting allowances that are given to participants to collect them? Do we go there to actively participate in them? Because there's a time there was the
you don't have time. At my time.
Okay.
It's not really on our side.
Yeah, sure.
Final remarks in less than a minute, please.
Asante sana, Sylvia. Pursuit of justice is a course that requires both knowledge and wisdom. Because social justice is a matter of perspective. To you, it could be justice. To me, it could not be justice. Over the years, people like King Solomon had a very taskful mission to determine murder of a son, where two women were claiming Totoni Wangu. And when we come forward to 2017, when we had PLO Lumumba acting as an amicus curiae for the Supreme Court under the presidency of David Maraga, in the case that was challenging the presidential election of former President Uhuru Kenyatta against Raila Odinga, we also saw justice. Fast forward again to 2024, when we are witnessing the impeachment of the second deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, both in the National Assembly and in the Senate. Wisdom. We saw Elisha Ongoya doing the cross interview. We saw people like Mutuse moving the motion. We saw other MPs talking about the case. Wisdom. Either we saw people with wisdom or we saw fools we elected to somewhere in the parliaments. And today we are talking about the consequences and the effect of all that. Now, here in Kenya, so that you cannot tell us this is justice and this is not justice, we use the Constitution of Kenya that was promulgated on 27th August 2010 to be the supreme law of the land, so that you cannot act out of it in your own wisdom and knowledge. If the judiciary is supposed to help us interpret, then it can only follow on the process that was used to impeach the deputy president according to the Constitution. But again, you asked if he himself will get justice. The justice he is seeking for is a fair hearing. Was he given a fair hearing during impeachment? If yes, then the impeachment is valid. If no, then the impeachment is null and void. If it is null and void, wanasema the sun waits for no king, no man. Kuna haja mnirudishe ofisi saa hizi na hii serikali ni kama imeshaisha. Just compensate me. That is what he is seeking for. The kind of heartbreak he suffered back then is also a question of contention here. I was on set during that time and we talked about Rigath's heartbreak. It was so strong that President Ruto had to call, and now a conversation is what they are talking about. Who is really talking about your problems, the fuel hikes? Who is talking about how health is not working? Who is talking about how education is crumbling? I feel our people should be focusing on those issues and not two bulls who are seeking for their own justice.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us this morning. This has been the discussion on Newspaper Review right on Biashara Tuesday. My name is Anyango, Sylvia. I hope to see you once again some other times. That is the next week on the same time, same place, same time.
I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland, and I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Eva Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.